Heya! This is Pokéball35, and it is time for the long-awaited sequel to the PVZ2 Eclise Tier List. It is time for the PVZ2 Grind1000 Tier List. I thought about making this a couple weeks ago. The idea came into my brain, because I'm like, for some strange reason, that really bad Eclise Tier List I made is one of my most popular videos. But I think that's because it's a tier list video, and people like watching tier list videos. Now, I actually, since I played Grind1000 for so long, for 8 months straight, 7 to 8 months straight, this year, I have a good idea of what is actually good in this game and what is bad in this game. And it was actually kind of hard for me to rank everything in Eclise because I had specifically said in that video, I'm moving my hand around like you can see it, I have my face cam turned off. I specifically said in that video that I would not, rank everything for, how I played for when I tiered up plants and stuff, because, that game had a tiering system where you could level up, plants using your money, and they would do different things depending on the tier, and I ranked everything at tier 1, so that everything was completely even, but stuff that I really like to use, like Gold Bloom, I put it, at the bottom, which I wouldn't normally do, because, Gold Bloom I think is good, but we'll get into that for this game. So I have a thing here for our tier list. I have things that are on this particular thing that actually don't exist in the game. These are all plants. I literally have no idea what they do. The only thing I know is that electricity is right there, and that's in Altverse, and it's like a chili bean. And the only thing I know about the other one that's next to it, which I believe is called the Imp Pear, if I can find it real quick, the only thing I know about Imp Pear is this image. So we're gonna put this image right here. I'm gonna leave it on the scene because I feel like it, just so you have something to look at. You'll eventually forget that it's in the corner of the video while watching, and then you'll look down and you'll be like, oh my god, what is that? I actually have Grind1000 open on my other monitor, just so remember everything. And we're going to be going going through this list, we're going to be going through everything that's, in the Grind1000 tiering system, where there's different, rarities of packets that you get, because in Grind1000 you use your money to get special packets, and then that levels up all your plants. So it's slightly harder to do everything, because, my Sunflower is level 9, and my Pea Shooter is level 7, and my Cabbage Pulse level 7, and a bunch of other stuff is, leveled up. But it still does the same thing, it just kind of makes the plant a little bit faster and a little bit more efficient, but it doesn't change, the core elements of what the plant is. Starting at the bottom tier of the Grind1000 plant, not the bottom tier of the thing, we first have Sunflower, which I believe was down here. So Sunflower, obviously, going up there. It's with you for, majority of the whole game, until you manage to get better sources of sun, which you don't get. Where do you get the next source of sun? Because that's what I always use. Okay, actually, that's a tier 2 thing. You know what, we'll move. I'll keep it at S, because, it depends on your preference for sun, because this costs 50 to place down, and it's got good recharge, but it produces 30 sun, or not 30 sun, it produces, sun over 30 seconds and gives you, stuff. It gives you 25 and stuff. So that will be up there. The next one on the list here is Peashooter. Peashooter is a very standard thing. However, once you get literally anything else, there is no reason to use Peashooter anymore. And because Peashooter and the next plant, Cabbage Pulse, are in the same in-game tier, just use Cabbage Pulse? Just use Cabbage Pulse. Peashooter is here, and Cabbage Pulse up here. Because Cabbage Pulse does more damage. It's a little bit of a slower fire rate, but does more damage and kills things more reliably. The only thing you're never going to use Cabbage Pulse for is the Parasol Zombies in Lost City. And if that's the case, just use, Repeater. or any other shooter. Peashooter is there to start your adventure, and you never have to use it ever again. Next is Blooming Heart, wherever Blooming Heart even is, because there's so many plants in the game that it is hard to find things. Okay, Blooming Heart's up here. Blooming Heart, the way you want to use Blooming Heart is that you want to stack it on top of each other. Like, you want to be, like, putting, like, 3 or 4 in the same lane, so that way it does a bunch of damage. We could probably put it in C, I think. This is also going to be, like, generalized tiers, not, like, if I put something, like, example, if I put this here, I'm not saying that this is better than Cabbage Pult, I'm just saying that they're in the same thing. I might reorganize them later, I'm not sure. But I would definitely use Blooming Heart over Peashooter. They're both 100 Sun, and this is just more spammable. This will just do more damage over time than Peashooter, so, like, I would just rather do that. Lightning Reed. Lightning Reed is very, very good carrying for early game. For this game, and is also just good in general. I think I might put it here, though. With this, I'd say they're probably about the same. Like, Lightning Reed, when you have, like, nothing at the beginning of Grind 1000, and you need to place things, this is what I used for, like, 100+ levels until I got better stuff. Until I learned new strategies, but getting Lightning Reed out, it reliably kills, like, every single basic zombie on the field once you get them out, and will eventually kill other stuff when combined with other things. So Lightning Reed is just a very, very good, reliable thing to have. Next is Electric Current, which is very, very situational. I would probably put it on the same tier here. This is completely situational. The only time you're ever using this is if you're going for the Electric Current strategies of using Electric Current combined with Sweet Potato with an aloe behind it, behind the Sweet Potatoes to do, like, just, like, the Chamber of Electricity Death. But, like, that's the only time I ever used them, and I never used them otherwise, so, like, I would probably put them around here. Next is Fat Beet, and honestly, Fat Beet is one of the best plants in this entire game. If I can find wherever Fat Beet is, because again, there are too many plants in the game. Once we start ticking them down, honestly, actually, I forgot, you don't exist in this game. EM Peach, oh yeah, EM Peach and Blover don't exist in Grind 1000. We can put those there. I still cannot find Fat Beet. It's purple, so it's not that hard to find. There's Fat Beet. So Fat Beet, easy A tier. Doesn't work in, like, every single strategy, but it will, once you get it out, reliably kill every basic, and if you have a full, like, line of them going up and down, one in each lane, it will also reliably kill pretty much every conehead as well, and you'll need something else to help kill buckets and stuff, but so many levels were won in my Grind 1000 playthrough because of me finding out about the Fat Beet strat. And the Fat Beet strat, kinda good. Puff Shroom is next. There's 2 different versions of Puff Shroom. One of them is a nighttime version that can't be leveled up, and the other one is a daytime version. I only ever really use the nighttime version, so that's what I'm gonna do here. They kind of just, you know, work the same way. I'm pretty sure, like, it doesn't mess with the damage or anything. I think it's just the recharge is different, but, like, Puff Shroom, like, it's fine. You could probably put it on the same tier as Cabbage, for now. Like, it's good if you have, I believe Puff Shrooms don't disintegrate in Grind 1000, if I remember correctly, so having those together, you can do a lot with the free Puff Shrooms you get during the night, and combined with, like, an Iceberg or something, is really good. Next is Sap Fling, wherever Sap Fling is. Here is Sap Fling. Sap Fling, I'm trying to remember how often I used it. I could probably put it here. Like, it's a good staller for stuff. I don't really remember how often I used it, but I can definitely say I didn't use it that often, unless I absolutely needed to. But it's good for, you know, slowing things down. Also, it does 3 damage a hit, so it does do damage. You can use it if you want. Next is Iceberg Lettuce. And attempting to find Iceberg Lettuce is here. I like using Iceberg. We could put it in B. Iceberg Lettuce, you know, stops a zombie from, you know, coming in. Good for early game, and just good to have in general whenever you want to stop anything in its tracks. I was really used to the Eclise one, the leveled up Eclise one, where it freezes multiple zombies. You know what? No, that's going here. Probably here, because there's other stuff later on that's definitely better than Iceberg Lettuce. But, you know, you can use it. It gets the job done. You all know what is coming next. And that is the one and only, if I can find him on this ridiculous list, here, the Spring Bean. So, we're gonna just make a Spring Bean tier, and Spring Bean is very bad. You all know this by now. If you watch any of my content, Spring Bean doesn't fucking work. It will knock back 1 zombie, and that is all it can do. And that's it. And actually, like, when I played, if you watch my Altverse stuff, I was amazed that they made Spring Bean fucking amazing in Altverse, because it actually does its job. It, you know, springs down, backs the zombie up, and then it wakes up. And it can keep doing that, and you can set up your early game strategies that way. And oh my god, Spring Bean is just fucking incredible in Altverse. But that's not the case in Grind1000. And recently, in the Eclise updates that have happened recently, they actually made Tier 1 Spring Bean work like the one in Altverse. So, like, my old tier list, the 1.8 tier list, is, like, super outdated, because now Spring Bean, like, in all honesty, would, like, be up here. If we were doing, like, an Eclise updated tier list right now. But nope. Going in the Spring Bean tier. We have Walnut next. Walnut is, you know, your average staller. I kind of replaced them with Tall Nuts whenever we got Tall Nuts. But for the early game stalling that it can provide, and the cheap stalling it can provide, it is very, very good. If, you know, I can find the nut. You know, it's brown. It's not that hard to find, walnut. But, like, I'm looking at every other nut, like Primal Walnut, Explodo Nut, and Durian, and Tall Nut. There's Walnut. It's at the frickin' bottom. So, Walnut, we could put that in the C. It is very average. It gets the job done. It does what it needs to do. And honestly, the same can be said for the next item in here. Honestly, the other 2 items in here as well. Gravebuster is kind of hard to... Alright, this could probably go here. It's kind of hard to, like, place. Because this is really only used in Egypt and modern day. And in Egypt, when the gravestones are all there, like the special Egypt gravestones, this does damage to nearby graves, and it's good, but, like, you're never really picking it unless you're going into Egypt. And then also, if you want to get rid of modern day ones, you know, it doesn't really do damage to other modern day ones. But also, where's Spikeweed? Spikeweed is very, very spammable. So it's got that going for it. But I never really used it that much. But in reality, it's probably, like, you know, average. It does what it needs to do. It does a pretty good amount of damage whenever you can spam it, because, you know, it's 100 sun to place these, and the recharge is very quick. So you can just place these whenever you need to. Also, going along with the Gravebuster thing is Hot Potato, which actually, Hot Potato could go up a tier. We'll do Lily Pad because I'm seeing because it's in the same thing. Lily Pad can go there because this is only used in Big Wave Beach. It's very situational. You don't need to use it otherwise. I am looking for Hot Potate. Hot Potate. So Hot Potato, not only does it thaw ice blocks in Frostbite Caves, but it also will completely erase every single octopi that is placed on your plants when doing Big Wave Beach stuff. So it has 2 uses. And that makes it very good, because it's an essential for playing most Big Wave Beach related levels. Unless you have, like, other strats, but, you know, that's that. And that is every single Tier 1 plant in terms of, like, Grind 1000 rarity. Now we go into Tier 2 for Grind 1000 rarity, which the first one here is Primal Sunflower. Easy, instant S tier, because the moment I unlocked Primal Sunflower, I never used Sunflower ever again, because Primal Sun, the recharge, I can see here, I think I had upgraded the recharge, but like the recharge that I'm seeing on my screen right now for Sunflower is 10.5, and the recharge for Primal Sun is 11.3, so it's not, like, terrible, like, terribly different, but the Primal Sunflower produces sun 10 seconds faster than the Sunflower and produces the same amount for 50 sun more. So just stall earlier in the beginning and you can get your Primal Suns out, and, you know, that it makes your economy better. I would rather use Primal Sun over Sunflower. But both of these, you know, you can do what you need to do. They both accomplish the thing. Next is Sunbeam, which I also say is very situational. I think I use Sunbeam a little bit more in this game, but, like, you're really using it against bucket heads and other stuff, but once you get it, you can use it. It does the job to get extra sun, but I never used it too terribly often. Repeater is next, and Repeater is just Peashooter in, like, just, you know, better. That would go up here. Like, I can tell you right now, I didn't use Repeater a lot in my playthrough of Grind 1000, but in reality, why would you ever want to use this when you could use this? It's just easy to put it higher. I might need to put some stuff in an E tier, or we could just, you know, delete the E tier, because there's nothing that I'm seeing that could possibly go here. So we might get rid of the E tier later, I'm not sure yet. Unless we want to put Split Pea there, which is the next plant. Split Pea is good for the levels that it forces you to use it. But also, I think early on for Wild West levels, yeah, you can use Split Pea. But also, you don't necessarily need to. I would honestly, like, put Split Pea down here, because, like, early game Wild West levels, congratulations, never using you ever again. Snow Pea is next, which Snow Pea is always good, 175 sun to place down, but it does good it's just Peashooter, but better in every way, and honestly, that can go easy B, because it does the slowdown. It allows you to combo off of, like, everything else in your deck a lot easier. Shadow Peashooter, the first time I ever got to use Shadow Peashooter was playing Grind 1000, and the way it works is that it's 175 sun to place down, like, Snow Pea, but it deletes all status effects. We could probably put it here, because it, like, the way you want to use Shadow Peashooter is that you want to use it in tandem with Sap Flings. So whenever you want to use this, you gotta use that, because this will get rid of all statuses, like freezing, or like the slowdown or whatnot, and you combine this with Sap Fling because the sap doesn't count as a status, it's just sticky on the ground. So like you can't use Iceberg or Stunyon to stun zombies with these, but this does like double damage. Like Repeater is 13 damage per P, so you're realistically doing 23 damage every time it shoots. The Shadow Pea does 41 damage a hit, but it also speeds up all the zombies, which is why you want to do this, so when the zombies speed up with Shadow Pea, it combos with this. It's good all around, but I never really use it that much. Bloomerang, honestly, you know what? Yeah, that could also be another E. Like, Bloomerang, you get it at the beginning to deal with the stuff you need to use at the beginning, but it's 225 sun to place down. It does 13 damage a hit, just like Repeater does. But also Repeater is just faster. I guess Bloomerang, you know, hits more things. I don't think I want to put it E, though. We could probably put it here. It's not that bad, but, like, you know, there's things that exist that are better than it, but there's not much that's worse than it. Kernel Pulse is very, very good. I had used it for early stalling in my Grind1000 playthrough. Also, I should say that this entire tier list is being made by someone who is 100%ed Grind1000, so I feel like I should know what I'm talking about. Once again, trying to find something that's yellow, and it's not that hard to find it. There it is. Kernel Pulse I had used for early game stalling. I could probably put it in average, because once I got something better, I never really went back to it. But, you know, it does the job. Spore Shroom, I feel like I could actually put that in E, because, like, Spore Shroom, I was used to how it worked in Eclise at the time, and it was very, very strong. Here, it's not strong at all, and doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot. Its perk is that it will one-shot imps, and also, yeah, is it just imps shrink small zombies into oblivion? I believe it also does more damage to, like, flying enemies, but, like, that's about it, unless I'm just, like, confusing that with Eclise knowledge. But I also just never used Spore Shroom whatsoever. Pepper Pulse was something I used a lot. That is just, it's 200 sun to place down. I personally use this more than Repeater because it's also 200 sun, but I like to use the catapults. It does the plant cooling down thing whenever you need that. It does a whole bunch more damage. That can go up here. It also does a 3x3 splash damage area as well. So, you know, it's good for that. I personally use this over Repeater. Like, I don't want to use Repeater Torchwood, I would just use Pepper Pulse. Fume Shroom, I was used to how it worked in Eclise and having it be really strong, and then when I played Grind1000, I was like, oh my god, this plant is really bad. Yeah, probably E. Like, I never used it personally. You can find use out of it, but, you know, it's there. I don't want to say, I don't feel like it's worse than Peashooter, but, like, Peashooter's the baseline. And it's kind of hard for me to, like, decide on where I want to put this thing. Because it will damage all zombies in the area, so it's, like, cool. Like Boomerang. No, we can move it up. We can move it up. It's fine. It's fine like that. Guacadile is next, and Guacadile, I'd say is also pretty average. It doesn't shoot. I remember it used to shoot in, like, vanilla, and then when I played Eclise, I noticed it never shot anything. But it does, you know, do damage to the whole lane, and that had helped me a lot in Big Wheat Beach scenarios and other scenarios I wanted to bring it in, which probably wasn't a lot. I can't find Guacadile, because I can't see it. And, like, it's green, so it shouldn't be hard to find, and I've definitely passed over it a bunch. There we go. We can put that in D. It does damage to the whole lane. It's kind of weak. It says it does 150 damage, but, like, it should just, like... I don't think it one-shots Coneheads unless you place it right on top of it, so it could be used for that, but also it's another very situational thing. Bonk Choi is one of the best plants in the game. At least for me, we can put that in B. It's nothing that's A yet, though. Like, Fat Beet, you know, A. Like, that's, like, one of the best attackers. We could put this up here? You know what? You know, I almost forgot A tier existed for a moment because I was putting so many things in B. I might put we're gonna move Snow Pea up. Snow Pea is easy A. Because of what it does, it's helpful for, like, nearly everything. I should probably move that up. And then Bonk Choi down here. That makes a little bit more sense to me. Bonk Choi does a lot of damage. Melee, it will take care of all basics and pretty much all Coneheads. It's very durable. It can solo a Buckethead, but it's gonna die, like, pretty much, like, right after. But, you know, having the nuts and stuff and everything that combos off of Bonk Choi is very, very good. Nightshade is one of the worst plants in the entire game. It will kill a zombie, And then there's Potato Mine, which is definitely better than that. It is very good for early game stalling, and also if you just want to place them later on, it's very good. Potato Mine, I could probably put that here because this is just, you can, like, you know, place sunflowers in the beginning, and then Potato Mine can take care of a lot of the early stuff, so as things are coming in, you can take care of it. I would use it for that, it's good. Tangle Kelp, again, extremely situational, but it really is only good for taking out snorkel zombies. So, like, it's good for that, but, like, other than that, there's literally no other way you can use it, so I guess it goes there. I think also snorkel zombies and fishermen, so, like, you know, it's taken out 2 zombies in a world where sometimes they don't show up in levels. It exists. Chili Bean, I severely underrated in my Eclise tier list, and it became completely invaluable to me. Or, I think that's the word, right? It was very valuable to me in my Grind 1000 playthrough, because I used it for early game stalling. It's a 50 sun to place down. I used it in combination with Potato Mine. This will insta-kill a zombie and then also stun everything else in the lane. It's very, very good for instant placing it down, not having to wait for Potato Mine to come out of the ground. You place it down, good for taking out buckets, and anything stronger than that. There was a glitch at one point where sometimes, like, the Chili Bean didn't work, but that didn't really happen a lot. Chili Bean, extremely good. Stunion, same thing. It will stun multiple zombies, and it's just better than Iceberg. That can go there. I use Stunion a lot for taking out Gargantuars. Also, this and Iceberg together for taking out Gargantuars, stunning it with an Iceberg, and then placing a Stunion on top of it, so that way when the Iceberg runs out, Gargantuar hits the Stunion. I like that. Primal Walnut can be used. It is very situational for Primal Gargantuars. Not Primal Gargantuars, just Gargantuars in general. Just, like, you know, stopping Gargantuars in their tracks. If you really, really need to do that. It has 340 toughness, but it says smashes from Gargantuars only deal 20 damage. So, like, you can stall a lot with them. If you really need to do that, you can. It's there. Aloe can go up probably to here, because, you know, it'll help heal all your other nuts and stuff, but, like, I'm never really using aloe to heal my other plants. I'm just using it to heal nuts. So, you know, walnut and tall nut specifically, like, you do that. And aloe doesn't even work with Primal Walnut, I'm pretty sure, in GT. Ghost Pepper is something I loved in Vanilla, and something I really, really liked in Eclise. Sadly, Ghost Pepper, not that good in GT. It doesn't really last very long and doesn't do a lot of damage. I guess the little explosion it does at the very end can be useful. It says it deals 200 damage to all nearby zombies when it explodes, and it's immune to frost, and can hover and stuff. So, like, it's got that, but, like, I rarely ever used Ghost Pepper at all. Jalapeno is up here. I think there's things better than Jalapeno, so that could probably go in average. I'd say I might move it up later, but, like, you know, it kills everything in the lane that it's in, but I personally would like to use different things for my explosion. It's there, though, if you want to use it. Pyrvine was the first time... Grind 1000 was the first time I ever got to use Pyrvine. I'm pretty sure it should be on this list. There we go. Pyrvine. Yes, this is the first time I ever got to use Pyrvine, and I actually really like it. It was very good for early. I don't think it could be B. Because, you know, you can put it on top of your plants for extra defense. It'll do a little bit of extra damage. In tandem with that, you can put it on top of nuts, you can put it behind nuts, you can put it on really anything, and just having that little bit of extra defense and that little bit of extra damage alone probably has it deserved to be up here. And the final thing of the second tier of Grind 1000 plants is Electric Blueberry, one of my favorite plants in the entire game. It will auto-target any special zombie that's on the field, instantly killing them. When there's no special zombies, it'll instantly kill anything else. If there's no zombies on the screen other than Gargantuars, it will start damaging Gargantuars. Honestly, that's, you know, an A. Like, I use this all the time. It is very, very good. Now we move on to what would be called the Tier 3 plants in Grind1000. Next we have, wherever it is Sunshroom. There should be a Sunshroom here. Did someone make this list and not have Sunshroom? Nope, it's here. Sunshroom. We could probably put this in A because I really only use it in nighttime levels. Which, you know, that's Dark Ages and Neon Mixtape Tour, which, you know, it's good for that, but not as good as these things. But I would put this here because these I use all the time, and this I just use some of the time. But it'll grow over time to give you more sun, which helps with all the night stuff, but I personally don't use it that much. Twin Sun is something I think I tried to use a lot and then didn't. It will produce more sun than a sunflower, but it takes a while to do it. The production time here is 30 seconds, which I believe that's the same for the regular sunflower. But, you know, it has a really long recharge rate, and, you know, that just kind of kills it a little bit. I never really used it. Moonflower, there's really no, like, shadow plant synergies with Moonflower in Grind1000. You'd be able to plant them in, like, a row, and it would give you a bunch of extra sun. And also, they, let's see. I'm just, like, looking at all the special stuff it can do. I'm pretty sure, like, they're also completely invulnerable, so it's, like, a free source of sun, and the only thing that kills them is Gargantuars. So, like, there's that. But also, like, I never used it. I never really saw a need to use it when I have, you know, regular sunflowers and stuff. There was, like, special levels where I had to use it, and that's really the only time I ever did. Next is 3-Peter, which some people could get mad at 3-Peter, but there are things later down the line that are just insanely good and a lot better than 3-Peter. It'll do, the P damage is 12 damage. I think it started at 10 or whatever because I had it upgraded, but this is 12 damage in each lane. And, you know, it fires like a Peashooter, and it's the 300 sun and whatnot, but, like, no, I don't care that much. Now I cannot find 3-Peter. I'd like to not find 3-Peter because I don't care about it. That's, for me personally, easy E tier. Like, not something I ever really use. Maybe I used it, like, twice when I first unlocked it. Congratulations. Primal Peashooter is one of the best for me. I believe when you place it down, I think I might be thinking of Eclise, because in Eclise, when you place it down, it takes a couple seconds to start firing. In Grind1000, it doesn't. That's easy A. It will do a lot of damage. It says 30 damage a shot, and it will always knock back zombies when it hits something. So this, combined with Snow Pea, or combined with other stuff we'll get to, does a lot of pressure. I mean, really the only time you're never really using this is against the mechs and the other guys in Jurassic Marsh that don't get knocked back. Peashooter, I think, is underrated. I tried to use them a lot. We can put them in B. Peashooter, you have to kind of stack a couple of them for it to be super effective, but it does a lot of... So I believe Grind1000 was the first time I ever used Pea, so it was really cool. But it'll do a poison damage, and it'll get rid of stuff that has armor. So, you know, like bucket heads go down easy, and anything else that has armor, especially Gargantuars, if you can slow them down enough and hit enough Peas on the Gargantuar, it'll shred through it. It's very, very good for that. Electric Peashooter does not work the way it does in Eclise, where it'll pass through zombies and do, like, lane damage. Like, for EP in this game, once it hits something, it's just like, once it hits something with electricity, it's like a regular pea and disappears, so it doesn't do full lane damage all the time. It's okay. You can use it for electricity-related things, for, you know, like chickens and whatnot, but there's also better options for that, you know, like Lightning Reed. But we could probably put them in the same thing, maybe. No, it's going down there. I don't think it's better than Lightning Reed, and I don't think it should be in the same tier. There's that. And now we come to the Homing Thistle. For anyone who watches my content, you would know that Homing Thistle is one of my favorite plants, especially in Eclise, and when they buffed it in there to make it, like, super strong, it's very, very spammable. I kind of want to put it up here, honestly. This is something you get out early. It does 18 damage a hit from what I have of my upgrades. Covers the entire board. You can easily spam it. Its recharge is only... starting recharge is 30, recharge is 55 regularly. You can put so many of these on the board. You can put out, like, a full, like, 5 of them, full lane of them, and it'll take out so much stuff for you, and you can have all your other stuff take care of it. Homing Thistle is just all around perfect, and anyone who hates on Homing Thistle hates having fun. Bowling Bulb, I believe, got changed, I think, so that... yeah, it says it can only detect targets 4 tiles ahead of it. So that way, it's not like using all of its bulbs all the time, and you can actually, like, have them recharge, and you can still do good damage with Bowling Bulb. That being said, though, it's still not, like, super perfect. I could probably go in D. Maybe. Maybe. D or C. I think it's better than EP, so I think it should go there. It still has its uses to, you know, do a lot of damage to stuff, but you have to make sure things aren't getting to the Bowling Bulb, and then you also have to make sure that the Bowling Bulb is fully, like, charged to have it hit the big bulb that does a lot of damage. If you can do that, it can put in work, but I'd also say it's pretty average. Starfruit, I never really used. I never really saw, like, a perfect use for it. Honestly, I would put that in E. Like, you could probably spam it to do a whole lot, but for me personally, it's just one of those low damage things that there's other resources that I use. Like, this and Homing Thistle are in the same tier. Just use Homing Thistle. Once you get it, use it. Next is a key, which does full lane damage and bops things on the head. A key was very, very valuable to me throughout my entire playthrough. Helped me deal with a lot of levels. It is very, very good. You know, it hits 3 zombies. It's just better Bloomerang in the lane and, you know, goes above stuff. So there you go. Next is Dusk Lobber, which is 275 Sun, and it does, you know, the splash damage like Pepper Pult. But, like, the damage it does and the splash damage it does are still 13 damage. And, like, for the stuff that I have, and it's like, okay, yeah, sure. But also, Pepper Pult does more damage overall, and that's 75 Sun cheaper. I think I used Dusk Lobber, you know, like, twice. For my personal tastes, I just don't care. And again, there's no synergies with Moonflower with Dusk Lobber in this game. This is just kind of what it is. So, like, I don't care about it. I also cannot find it in this list. There it is. That's easy E, same tier as these, just don't care about them. Snapdragon. I don't really feel like I use Snapdragon enough in my Grind 1000 playthrough, but I'd say maybe B, because, you know, it does a lot of damage, and you can, you know, put nuts in front of it and stuff like that. That should just be there. Cold Snapdragon, I never really found a use for Cold Snapdragon. Like, I never really cared enough to use it, like, ever, because in my personal opinion, it's just worse Snapdragon. Like, it slows them down, and does less damage, but the damage Cold Snap does is 10, and the damage Snapdragon does is 52. So, you know, you could slow them down and in turn maybe do 52 damage after it shoots 5 times. But why would you just not use Snapdragon? Snapdragon is 250 Sun and this is 325. Like, literally, like, why? I do think it's better than EP though, so it's going up there. Blastberry Vine, this is the first time I ever got to use Blastberry Vine. It does very weak damage in the lane, but you can plant these on top of all of your existing plants, so that's just extra damage you're doing, and there's really no downside other than the fact that the recharge kind of blows. Once again, can't find it. Definitely in the same... It might be up here better than Pyrvine. I think I'll put it up here for now, for A, because, you know, you can plant it on all your things. It is 325 Sun to plant, so it can be expensive on certain decks, but you can plant it, and it will definitely help you complete levels. Wasabi Whip, my first time I believe I ever got to use Wasabi Whip was this game, this mod. And it's okay. It's longer range and more damage than Bok Choy, but, you know, it's 325, or 350 Sun, rather, compared to 175, and I would honestly rather just plant Bok Choys. You could probably bring Bok Choy and Wasabi Whip, so that way you can replace them, but it's a lot faster than Bok Choy, and does more damage than Bok Choy, but for 350 Sun, and also it's a 13.5 recharge. The Bok Choy recharge is 5.6. So you could probably do a lot more with Bok Choy than you can with Wasabi Whip. I personally would put it down here and Bok Choy up there, but that's just me. Parsnip is something I wanted to use a lot more and then kind of didn't. But it can be placed on water, which is cool, and it will take care of a lot of threats for you, and then when it's completely eaten, it'll get up out of the lane and then do a whole bunch of lane damage. And I wanted to use it once I had it unlocked, but like I just kind of didn't care enough to use it. It's probably, you know, average though. It definitely does what it's supposed to. Straw Burst, another one of those things, like it's great, but no, not one of those things I don't feel like I've seen its full potential. But from my personal experience, definitely here. But for what Straw Burst is, though, probably up here, because it's 325 Sun to place and the recharge kind of sucks, but once you have it, it's like a recharging bomb that you can, like, throw at things, so, like, you know, it's good. But so it probably deserves to be up here. Next is Chomper, which, Chomper, you know, you can use it for early game stalling, and also, you know, just taking out, like, other types of threats, like buckets and stuff. The real-time Chomper shines is in Big Wave Beach, where there's, the octopi, and you can, like, put sunflowers in the front, and then chompers behind the sunflowers, and then chompers behind those chompers, so then you have just, like, an infinite chomper stream to take care of things, and, you know, for what it is, I probably want to put it up there. I think it's better than Hot Potato, and I don't really want to move Hot Potato down, so probably deserves to be in B, because it can do a whole lot, and, you know, you can stall with it, insta-kills anything it hits, other than, you know, like Gargantuars and whatnot, but, you know, it's there. Squash is one of my favorite instas. I don't feel like it does enough damage, but it will. I don't remember if it even one-shots buckets in this game. However, it's still really good, and probably B. You can place a bunch of them, and it'll do what it needs to do. Lava Guava. I don't care about Lava Guava. I see no reason to ever use Lava Guava, ever. Like, it'll place, like, a fire lava tile underneath it when zombies step on it, and it'll do damage. It's probably good for, you know, taking out Gargs and stuff, but there's other things you could use that are definitely better, and I never use it. And again, this is all my personal tastes for how I want to rank things. Pomegranate, this is the first time I ever got to use Pomegranate, and I think it's okay. I don't really personally think it's, like, great, because Pomegranate and Cherry Bomb are in the same tier, and they're one after another here. But Pomegranate does, for what I have here, is 270 explosion damage. And then it also leaves seeds on the ground that also do 270 damage when things step on them. But, like, this could go here, and then Cherry Bomb is immediately after it, and Cherry Bomb, I feel, is just better. Cherry Bomb does 1,015 damage. Or, yeah, 1,215 damage, excuse me. And will just kill everything in there. So, if you want to have, like, residue from the Pomegranate, you can, but also Cherry Bomb just does its job better. Hypno Shroom, very, very good, especially for hypnotizing higher-leveled zombies, like cone, or, like, you can use it on cones, but buckets and everything above it. I think it should go here, especially when you have plant food for it. It'll, you know, make a Gargantuar happen. I like Hypno Shroom. It is 100 sun, so it can be costly sometimes in the Grind 1000 economy, but it's there. Hot Date, I would rather use Sweet Potato, so I care 0 for Hot Date. I would never use it, don't care. Ice Bloom is the first time I ever got to use Ice Bloom in this game, and it got added in an update. I think Ice Bloom is pretty good, but it's also, like, pretty average, because it will one-shot imps, which is cool whenever there's, like, a level that has imp spam, but you have to wait until the zombie that you're fighting is very, very low on health, and you just have to kind of guesstimate if the Ice Bloom's 60 damage will knock out the zombie, because then the zombie turns into a blockade, and those blockades have 220 HP, which for reference, walnuts have about 2 times as much as that at 480. So, like, you know, you can get, like, a lot of, like, mini walls with this, and it is good for one-shotting imps. I have had one scenario where I did use Ice Bloom on a Gargantuar, and that was kind of funny. But it's there, and you can use it. It does good it does, like, pretty okay damage. It can be... I don't even want to say it's spammable. It's 23.8 recharge. But, you know, for imp spam levels, it's perfect, and it can also just do that little bit of extra damage you need to kill things. Stalia does the same thing it does in Eclise, where it will knock zombies backward, and also stun them, or stall them a little bit. That's B. It is very good for knocking things away and stopping them stopping them from moving forward. This is just like everything that Spring Beam should be, but isn't. Hurricane will push things back in the lane, so it is like Stalia. They're probably, you know, equals. It'll push things back in the lane instead of doing a 3x3 area like Stalia, but, you know, this is still really good. You can push things back. I'd say it's great. Escape Route is very, very situational, and I barely used it. And really the only time I severely used it are in, like, minigame levels, or, like, just those kinds of levels that force it upon you. So, like, I'm personally never using it. I have used it before with a plant we'll get to in a couple of plants to help with early game stuff, but, like, that's maybe, like, 5 levels out of, you know, like, the 600 that are in the game, or whatever. So, you know, like, including, like, Infinite Adventure and all the main adventure levels and all the other levels that are in the quest log and stuff, you know, like, 600 plus levels, so, like, it's there. Tall Nut exists, and it is better than Walnut. It is your go-to staller, probably A, because, like, just use this over Walnut. Wherever I put Walnut down here, this definitely deserves to be up here. Infinite. Infinite protects plants 2 tiles forward and backward. So you have to plant the plants in front of it first and then plant Infinite so that it does protect them. But, like, I don't use it, therefore I don't really have an opinion. It's another plant that I just don't care about, and I would rather use anything else. Infinite exists. Same thing with Garlic. It exists. It'll move zombies into other lanes. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that, because you can just put a other plant in that lane instead of placing garlic down. So, you know, there's that. Intensive Carrot. It revives any eaten plants and also revives them with extra HP. So it's just, you know, really good if you can plant it down. It's got its use to help, especially when you have like expensive things or things that have a lot of defense, like tall nuts. You can revive a tall nut, and the tall nut will have even more HP. It's good for that. Spike Rock is better than Spikeweed, and that's really all I can say about it because I think it's okay, but it definitely deserves to be in B. Zombies that walk over it take a lot of damage. It takes out anything that, you know, barrels and pianos and stuff like that. It's great for that. And then we have the last tier 3 plant in terms of Grind-thousand rarity, and that's Witch Hazel. So for anyone who had watched some of my late game Grind-thousand videos and streams and stuff like that, you would know that I have a massive strategy with Witch Hazel and another plant we're going to get to in 2 plants. Witch Hazel is 275 sun to plant, but it has really good starting recharge, so you can plant it at the very beginning. It will turn the nearest zombie it hits in like the lane in front of it, the lane above it, and the lane below it. It'll turn that zombie into a solar tomato, and that solar tomato stuns the zombies that are next to it, and then also, you know, deletes them, stuns the zombies next to it, and you get sun for every zombie that it's stunned. This is insane early game, especially if you can get, once you get 2 of them out, and then in some of my strategies I have like 4 of them out, and they're always activating. It'll stun Gargantuars because it'll do things at the front of the lawn, stun all the zombies there during big waves. You're getting sun at like just stacks and stacks of sun. It'll stun everything there, including Gargantuars. It's fucking perfect. And also it does 720 damage to Gargantuars as well. The next plant is Gold Leaf, which you can place down and get extra sun, and that's very, very good. Wherever Gold Leaf is. I have used Gold Leaf in some strategies. We could definitely put Gold Leaf down here. Its recharge is 21, so you can easily get a bunch of these out over the course of a level and get extra sun. And then we have the first time I ever got to use Sling Pea. Sling Pea, I have no words to describe my love for Sling Pea. Sling Pea, in terms of Grind-thousand, overthrew my love for the Homing Thistle. That's how much I love the Sling Pea. My strategies have turned into stalling at the beginning, placing all your sunflowers. Also, it's been a while since I have played Grind-thousand, so I think I am confusing one thing, where I think I still place regular sunflowers over Primal Sun. I think? It's been a while, I could probably look at a video. But they still do the same thing. I stall at the beginning and get a bunch of sun from my sunflowers. Then I have, I either stack sun up till I get 400 sun for a Sling Pea, which shoots 5 peas, each pea doing, for what I have leveled up, 13 damage. I think it started at regular Peashooter damage at 10. But it does it 5 times. So it'll be constantly doing 50 damage a hit at the start, and now it's doing 13 damage, which I will grab my phone and go into the calculator because I'm not good at math. 13 times 5 is that it's doing 65 damage to a zombie at all times. And then there's, you know, you can just constantly stack it, and then the sun from the Witch Hazel combines with that, so you can constantly get a bunch of sun from the Witch Hazels and turn that into Sling Peas, and then just have a bunch of Sling Pea spam. And once you have like 10 Sling Peas, you're doing, let's do this, 13 times 5 times 10. 650 damage every time that's happening. And once you kill everything else on the field, because it'll always target the zombies that are closest to it, then it'll start attacking Gargantuars. And then it just fucking shreds through Gargantuars, dude. Like, it's absolutely insane. This plant should not exist. However, it does, and it's amazing. Next is Fire Peashooter, which, in my personal opinion, I would just consider worse Pepper Pult. It is 450 sun to place down. compared to, you know, the 200 that it costs to place Pepperpult down. This is definitely faster than Pepperpult in terms of fire rate, but I just never use it. The damage Fire Pea does is 48, and the damage Pepperpult does, where Pepperpult is on the list, is 46. So the Fire Pea is doing a little tiny bit more damage and a little bit of splash damage with 20, and it's good. However, you can put more Pepperpults down, and I would rather do that. Red Stinger is pretty okay for early game when you have it, but I personally don't use it that much. It could probably go in D. It only works in the 2 back lanes, and I would rather place other planes in the 2 back lanes than that, but it's there. Peanut does like a Gatling Pea kind of thing, and it also stalls, so it's pretty good. It can go in B. There's not really much to say about it. It is a decent wall. It's a little bit less health than Walnut, but it does do a lot of damage, so it's pretty good there. Daisy Chain, I believe this is the first time I ever got to use Daisy Chain as well. Putting Daisy Chains in the back and having it constantly stall everything in the entire lane. That's an easy A tier. Once you get one in each lane, it's kind of like a GG there. And then that can stack on top of like everything else that you have, and it's just great. Citron takes a while to charge, and I personally don't use it that much, but it's average. It'll like one-shot like buckets and stuff. If they're in the front, it does 450 damage a hit, so like it's cool. There you go. Rutabaga, I rarely ever got to use because there were so many other options. Like, they put Sling Pea and a couple other things that are amazing in the same tier here. So, there's not much to say about Rutabaga. It does combine with Torchwood if you want to do that. Like, it's definitely a thing that you can do wherever Rutabaga is. There it is. But it's 400 sun to place down, and, like, you know, you could just place other things. You could just place other things. Speaking of other things, Coconut Cannon is not one of those other things. It's 500 sun to place down, and it only shoots a couple tiles ahead of it, I'm pretty sure. I remember having a problem with that. But, like, it's Coconut Cannon. It does stuff. Where did I put it? It's here. Coconut Cannon is a thing that, once again, like, it's got its use if you really want to place it down. It's not terrible. Like, I'd even maybe put it up here, but, like, you have so many other options. Especially, this thing is tier 4 in terms of grind 1000 rarity, and in tier 4, there's also plants like Sling Pea that exist. And also, the next plant on the list is Melon Pole. That exists, that's just better. It's 450 sun to place down, and does a whole bunch of frickin' damage. That should go into B. Now, the next plant, I gotta pull this up on the screen as well, because I was waiting to get to it. Where is my image? Next up is the Laser Beam. We're gonna put the Laser Beam. This is my first time tabbing back into OBS, and apparently it's been an hour of me rambling. We're gonna put the Laser Beam up there. That's where I want to put them. Next is Laser Beam. Laser Beam is 350 sun to place down, and it does full lane damage. Always. And it is incredibly good. Easy S tier. You put these in the back, it'll help deal with almost every single thing in the entire game. You could also just use, you know, Sling Pea, but Laser Beam is there. And Laser Beam is good. This is the first time I ever got to use Pakra, which is a 550 sun bonk choi thing that also stalls zombies, and it's like, okay, congratulations, like, it does the job. Next is Toadstool, which Toadstool, let's see, it gulps down zombies whole and produces sun, so it doesn't work like the way it does in Eclise, which I really liked because how it one-shots like all animals and imps and stuff. But this, it's always grabbing one zombie and then like producing sun. It's definitely like average. It's 250 sun. I have gotten my uses out of Toadstool, not as much as Eclise though. The next is Celery Stalker, which you can place behind zombies, and it'll do a whole bunch of damage really, really quickly. That is definitely in the B area. You can put this behind any nuts that you have, and it's very, very good like that. Mistletoe. They nerfed Mistletoe into Oblivion in an update into this, because originally it did a 3x3, like, you know, 3 square thing here. Now it only does this, where it does the one in front of it, and then this one, and then this one. And it's like, okay. And it's even worse in Eclise, which I believe does a 1-tile thing. So go fuck yourself, Mistletoe. Primal Potato Mine. It does have its uses. I would rather just use regular Potato Mine. But I could probably put these in the same tier, because this takes a lot less time to come out of the ground, and it will do a lot of damage to everything around it. But this is something you want to use to take out, like, higher tier zombies, or, like, higher, you know, stronger zombies. But you can use it if you want. But also, the next thing on the list, Shrinking Violet, does everything that does, but better! It will shrink down all zombies in the lane. Actually, I probably want to put this in A. It'll shrink down all zombies in the lane and, you know, in a 3x3 area. Insta-kills imps. And then when the zombies are completely shrunk, it's a lot easier for your already existing plants that are shooting at them to do damage. Grape Shot is 250 sun, and it's, you know, Cherry Bomb, but better. Instant A. I could put this probably in S, because it's like the best explosive in the game, but we'll put it down here. I like this a lot. It's the explosive that I use all the time once I have it. And then also all the projectiles from the Grape Shot are insane, and that helps you a lot. Holly Barrier is okay. It is 375 to place down, and then you kind of use it, and then it's really only super useful when you have Intensive Carrot with it, so that way you use all the barriers, and then you have the zombie eat it, and then you Intensive Carrot it, and then you get stuff back. But you're really only using that in the minigame levels that the game tells you to do it with. So, like, okay, sure. Chard Guard has, I believe, 6 uses in Grind 1000 instead of 3. So it is definitely good. I don't say it's like the best thing ever, but I could definitely put that in a C and be fine with it. Endurian, I love a lot. You know, it's a walnut that has 1010 toughness from the level I currently have it at, and it's doing 10 damage a tick. And it's, yeah, so, like, you know, it's perfect, especially when you have it with aloe. That's an easy A tier. Probably, like, you know, the best walnut in the game, or the next best, like, staller in the game next to, you know, tall nut. You want to have, like, a thing that you eat and stuff. Sweet potato is incredibly situational, and that goes probably, like, here, because this is really only used with, you know, this electric current to do the electric current strats. I've never used sweet potato otherwise, unless I'm doing an electric current strategy. The first time I ever got to use spearmint was in this game, and I like spearmint. It doesn't level with spikeweed. I could probably put it in B, but placing it 350 sun, you're technically saving sun, because placing 5 spikeweed costs 500 sun, but this costs 350, and you can place it down and place 5 spikeweed in the first 5 available slots at the front of the board. So having this a bunch, you can easily place a lot of spikeweed down. It's cool. Soybean Pod is the first time I ever got to use this in Grind 1000. Fuck Soybean Pod, it's not that good. You probably want to, like, have this be, like, your only attacker and spam it. Like, I think the concept of Soybean Pod is cool, spawning, like, zombies that are on your side that do damage, but they have literally no HP, unless you, like, massively level the Soybean Pod, which I haven't. Especially since it's a higher tiered plant in-game, it's really, really hard to use. So, no, I'd rather never use that. Magnet Shroom, I think, is, like, super nerfed in this. Because, like, you know, it'll do, you know, like, magnetic stuff, like, you know, buckets and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure the main thing that it's supposed to take is, like, you know, football helmets. and things like that, except apparently the football helmets are plastic in Grind 1000, and it never actually takes them, because it's not magnetic. So, with something that's very situational, but like, helmets from the Knights in Dark Ages is what you want to use this for, and bucket heads. So again, situational. Torchwood, once again, very situational, especially for the things that I previously stated. I could probably put this in like C, because you can use it with repeater and stuff like that. And Primal P, and if you want to use that, but also I would use this, and especially this, and especially this, so you can use Torchwood. It's there. And that's the last tier 4 plant in terms of Grind 1000 rarity. We're on to the last 2 tiers, which is tier 5, Grind 1000 rarity, starting with Gold Bloom. Gold Bloom, once I unlocked it, I use it in every single level. It is 75 sun to place down. It does have a lot of recharge, but you place it down for 75, and then you get 225 back, so you're always getting a profit from it. I always use this whenever I can. Once I had it unlocked, it's a necessity for every single one of my levels that I play. Solar Tomato is, good, because it's the same Solar Tomatoes that come from Witch Hazel. But placeable Solar Tomatoes, I never really use that much. I could probably put them in A for how good they are, because they are Solar Tomatoes. They have 34 recharge on them, so like you can still do it if you don't want to bring Witch Hazel. Not having to deal with the Witch Hazel recharge and just dealing with the Solar Tomatoes, you can do that. It's cool. The first tier 5 I ever unlocked was Pea Pod, and I was severely disappointed, and I hated it. Pea Pod, use it with Torchwood, but this is, a tier higher than the tier that has Laser Beam, Melon Pult, and Sling Pea in it. So, like, no. This is the first time I ever got to use Ultimato, which I think is a pretty cool plant. You want to have it with, like, the sun strategies that I have, with, like, Witch Hazel stuff. It costs 25 sun to place down first, and then it costs 25 more sun every time you place it down, and you place Solar Tomatoes on top of each other to get it to the full maximum thing. It's like a really weak laser, and then a stronger laser, and then a really strong laser. But I never got too much use out of it. I'd say it's, average. Like, it's good. I don't think it's better than any of these, personally, but you can use Ultimato if you have a massive sun stack. Cactus. I think I unlocked Cactus, and then, like, never used it. Because I didn't care. But it does target, it says it detects plants in a 3x1 area, so like everything that's directly in front of it, and it does a lot of damage. But like, sure, it's there. Dandelion is very, very good. It is 600 sun to place down, but it'll do 44 damage in every lane that it hits, and it hits a 3x3 area, and it'll constantly move between lanes to what it needs to be hitting, and it does 33 splash damage. Definitely, I don't know if it's A, but I would put it in B. I feel like it does deserve to be an A, though, because then you can combine this with Hurricane, and this is just a good attacker, and this combos with it. Magnifying Grass, I had used a couple of times, combined with Twin Sun, one very situational plant that I don't really care about. I could use it with the Witch Hazel strats, but I don't want to. Wintermelon is the last plant I ever got to unlock in Grind 1000, so I actually don't really have an opinion of it, because I never really got to use it. It's probably B tier. It's probably B, right? Like, same, we could put it in the same thing. But, like, I never really got to form an opinion on Wintermelon, other than what I already know about Wintermelon, is that, let's see the stats, because Wintermelon does 50 damage, Melon Pult does 60 damage, but also the Wintermelon slows things down. So, it has less toughness, but also it has 50 recharge compared to the recharge of Melon Pult, which is 13, so, like, it's okay. You could use Melon Pult. You'd have to get a lot of them early on, so that way you don't have to deal with the recharge thing. Next is Apple Mortar, which is just better than both Melon Pults combined. It will hit, that's going in A. It'll hit 3 lanes, do 33 damage per hit, and do 11 splash, and it shoots really fast, and the recharge is very quick. If you have 650 sun to spare, place them down. You have 2 of them, you're pretty set. Now we come to the next plant, which I can't believe I actually have to do this. But, no, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this. This is, the Kiwi Beast tier. Every single level the game forces you to use Kiwi Beast in is an only Kiwi Beast level, and it has completely turned me off from ever wanting to use Kiwi Beast whatsoever. I fucking hate Kiwi Beast. More than Spring Bean. I didn't know if it was possible to hate a plant more than Spring Bean. Kiwi Beast is that. I don't feel like I need to go into more detail. Fuck Kiwi Beast. Next is Banana! And the Banana Launcher is cool. Probably C. It costs 700 a place. It's probably B, actually. It costs 700 a place. And then you just have a 3x3 massive missile that recharges every so often. You can do a lot of stuff with that. I never use it too much because, you know, I had this. But you can do that. Jack-o'-lantern, we're almost done. Jack-o'-lantern is kinda cool, but like, okay. You click on it and then it'll shoot like a jet flame thing and does a bunch of damage that way. I just can't really think of much else to say about Jack-o'-lantern other than the fact that, like, it's there and exists. Snap Pea is also a plant that is there and exists. Going in the E tier, I figured out a lot about Snap Pea from playing one specific level. That is in one of the highlight videos on the channel. So Snap Pea will automatically get the first zombie it sees in the lane, go from like the back to the front and eat it, so it can like instantly eat bucket heads and stuff like that, and that's cool. And it'll shoot the head of the zombie back at you, or like back at the zombies, but the head damage doesn't do anything. And really all it's good for is that since Snap Pea can't shoot can't hit Gargantuars, it'll shoot peas at them instead. And the peas stun the Gargantuar, so if you have like 3 Snap Peas in a lane trying to fight a Gargantuar, it infinitely stalls the Gargantuar, and like, cool. Like, congratulations. You've stalled the Gargantuar. However, we have Iceberg Lettuce, and we have Sap Fling, and we have Stunnion, and we have Squash, and Cherry Bomb, and Dahlia, and Grape Shot, and Electric Blueberry, sometimes, and Shrinking Violet, and Sling Pea, to all deal with Gargantuars. So, like, congrats, you exist. Cauliflower. Okay, I was also thinking Cauliflower's not on the list because I didn't see it. Cauliflower, I'd say it's probably B. It is 525 sun to place down and has a lot of recharge on it there, but can't hypnotize Gargantuars, but it'll hypnotize everything else. It shoots like random zombies on the field, and if you have enough out, it can, if you have like maybe like 2 of them, even 3 of them, especially 3, it'll get rid of a lot of zombies on the field for you and turn them around, and they will fight the other ones. And if you have other stuff that shoots, it helps a lot with your defenses. Pumpkin, I'd honestly probably say is easy S. The pumpkin sprite is different in Grind 1000 for some reason, but this is what it looks like here. It's a shield that goes on top of every single one of your plants. Recharge is not that bad, and it's like 40 toughness less than a walnut. So you just have, you know, a bunch of walnuts you can place on top of your existing plants. It's like what I said about Pyrvine and Blastberry Vine. It doesn't do the damage, however, it's a lot more toughness, and this combined with Bonk Choy and definitely Wasabi Whip help tremendously. Explodo Nut is something you want to pair up with Intensive Carrot. It's very situational. They eat it and then you Intensive Carrot it, but then this has more health and you don't really want it to have more health, you just want it to explode. So like, it's there, it's cool. Now, the next plant is Peppermint. And normally I would say that Peppermint is one of the best plants in the game at S tier. because this helped me so much throughout my playthrough, because it did like 3 times more damage than it does right now. I think it did like 200, 300 something damage. It would instantly kill like everything in the lane and do like half damage, like half the health of Gargantuars. But they nerfed Peppermint. And as of this patch, which is 1.5 of Grind 1000, Peppermint is probably B. It will instantly kill all basics, and I think all Coneheads, not even come close to killing all buckets, which sucks. However, it's more spammable. So you could do that combined with everything else and still get a lot of results. I still use Peppermint a lot. Next is, what's this thing's name? Wintermint. It will instantly freeze everything on the field, and then also apply chill for 20 seconds. That helps a lot, especially with, you know, stuff that needs to be frozen. Not much else to be said. It's great. Reinforcement is spring bean plant food that's placeable. That's not this one. It is this one. Spring bean plant food that is placeable. It is good for knocking things away. Easy A tier. It knocks them away 3 tiles, and it helps a lot. This recharge is 27, so it's semi-spammable. You can do stuff with that. Time Warp. I mean, it's Time Warp. It takes everything on the field and brings it back to the start, but it also regens all of their health. Something that's very situational. I could probably put it right in the middle there. Definitely average. Imitator, easy S. I'm always in every single level imitating either Sunflower or Primal Sunflower to get my sun production out faster. I'm never using Imitator on anything else. Imitator plus Sunflower or Primal Sun or whatever your sun producer is helps you get all your sun production out faster, which in turn lets you play the level more. And the last tier 5 plant is Power Lily. I forgot this isn't even in the game. I also forgot some other stuff isn't even in the game, so this isn't in the game, right? Grimrose is not in the game, this isn't in the game, and this isn't in the game. I thought these were still, but they're not, so we're at the end. Power Lily. You can place it down, and it gives you a plant food, especially in this game it's very good because plant food is not super common. I would definitely put it in B. You can use it if you want. I have gotten some extra plant foods from it, but it's not like a guarantee. Then we have the tier S plants, which are the special cases. This is a plant I don't even have unlocked yet. It's called Marigold Sprouts, which will, you plant it and it'll plant random marigolds on the ground that help you get more money for grinding. I don't even have it unlocked, so like I don't have an opinion of it, but from what I've heard from people who do have it unlocked, it's just like, why even bother placing it? But it's there. Enchantment is very good. It boosts all the HP and HP related effects, so it'll have all of your plants have extra, super duper extra HP, especially if you have it combined with nuts. They're just like never dying, and it lasts a pretty long time. My personal favorite is Armament, right here. Armament makes all of your ranged attackers do pretty much like double damage. So this, it has it's 0 cost, but it has 300 recharge, so it takes forever to come back. But also I actually have used Imitator with this before, so never mind, but I have used Imitator with these and this. With my strategy of Sling Pea, being like my only attacker really, combined with this is doing a bunch of damage, and then it's doing ×2 damage when this happens. So with all of my Sling Peas out, and then the damage from everything that's there, and then like a huge wave happens, everything's fucking shredded. It's all gone. Next is Enforcement, which is the same thing but for melee plants. I'm never really using melee plants other than Bok Choy, so there you go. And I guess also Fat Beet as well, but it's there. And the final plant is Filament, which is easy S tier. Filament will stop the entire wave from happening for a handful of seconds. I don't think it says exactly how much. It says duration 24, so it stops all zombies for quite a bit. and it helps you get your defenses out. And whenever there's a big wave and you're not prepared for it, when all the stuff is on screen, you can filament and then combine that with all your other strategies and get the job done. So we're going to make one more quick thing, row above, and have it just be the watermark. I didn't want to do that. I want this to be red or whatever it was. I need to do this here. I want this to be black. And this is just watermark. You can't even see the text on it, but like whatever. What about light blue? Is light blue even used on this? It's not used on this. It's down. There's blue down here. So this is my current definitive PVZ2 Grind1000 tier list as of patch 1.5. How long have I been recording for? An hour and 20 minutes? That sounds about right. I have a lot to say about all these plants. This is all the stuff that don't care and never want to use. Stuff that is situational, or maybe used like 1 or 2 times. Stuff that is very average and can get the job done. If this is what you have and this is what you want to use, you can, in fact, use them. The B tier, all the stuff that is extremely useful and you should be using in your builds. A tier, something that you should pretty much always be using in your builds almost all the time. And S tier, just the best plants in the entire game, in my personal opinion. This is all my opinion. And then we also have Spring Bean down here and Kiwi Beast down here, and these things don't exist. So here is the full thing, the full list. I'll like download the image. This is what it looks like. I can probably zoom out and pull OBS back up so I can make sure I'm getting the whole thing in here. Almost the whole thing. I mean, this is the whole thing. There you go. So this has been my Plants vs. Zombies 2 Grind1000 tier list. Thank you so much for watching. If anyone is new to the YouTube channel, I am Pokéball35, and I do a bunch of variety content. I have a lot of stuff uploaded to this YouTube channel, and I just recently hit 1,000 subscribers, so once again, thank you for that. Please continue to subscribe to help support me if you want to see more cool stuff from me. I do a lot more streaming, and a lot of stuff from my streams goes up on YouTube. I stream a lot of Plants vs. Zombies 2 mods. I have been streaming PVZ2 mods since September 2020. Starting with Eclise, and then we played Grind1000 from, like, February this year. February 2021 to, like, honestly, I think it was August or September of this year, so, like, a really freaking long time we played Grind1000. And I play a bunch of other stuff as well that you can check out. I have all of that, like, on my banner and stuff on Twitter, which you can also follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with everything else I'm doing in my life. Follow me at twitch.tv/Pokéball35, link in the description. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I hope you enjoyed this video of the PVZ2 Grind1000 tier list that is totally definitive and not opinionated whatsoever.